Oh, yeah. You know, I jotted a few notes down.
We're going to call the meeting to order of the Sheridan School District, and we're going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Jen, go ahead and take a roll. Here. Jeremy?
Here.
Here?
Here.
Here.
All right, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Perfect. Is there a second? A second. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Jen, go ahead and take that vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
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 All right, we are already to our presentations. Is our cheer people here? I believe so.
We have 2 of the 4.
Okay. Are we ready to present, or would you like us to skip ahead and come back to you?
Can you come back?
Yeah, we'll start with our RNC. Scott and Ab, welcome.
Good evening. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I think we just wanted to go through quick introductions and then maybe hit on kind of where we are today and where we're headed. So I'll start. Adam Cormack, RNC Management. Been with RNC since 2014. Been doing K-12 education over the last 20 plus years, and we're super grateful and super thankful to be here. We do, I would say, the majority of work at RNC Management is K-12 education. So we sleep and breathe and do all that good stuff in between. So we really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
And my name is Scott Rose. I'm a senior project manager. I would be your day-to-day contact. I've been doing this since '88, so 37 years, I think. So I've worked on staff with Kent School District near Seattle, as well as Eugene 4J, on staff as project manager. And then left and went to the design side for about 20 years and have now joined RNC Management since 2017, kind of returning to what I did for Eugene 4J, but as a consultant now. And most of my work has been K-12, dabbled in some of the other project types. I focus a lot on upfront assessment and planning and pre-design and programming, but then also the technical specifications. I have work a lot on waterproofing details, things like that. And I do a lot of the construction administration, a lot of the stuff on the back end of the job as well.
And we have a deeper team than this. It's just the 2 of us here representing RNC today, but we're not a huge firm. We're not a small firm. We're trying to very intentional about the size of our firm. So snapshot of where we are. So we had an opportunity to sit down with the management team, with Doria and her team. Last week, by us kind of understanding the RFP, we're starting to better understand what some of the expectations are, et cetera, et cetera. So we currently are kind of in what we call the pre-design kind of programming phase, where really, you guys did a fantastic job, not only passing your bond, but getting the information in the RFP for us to understand. And now, for over the next, I would say 30 to 45 days, we're going to work really hard to better understand expectations, develop what we call a management plan, which will better understand budgets, schedules, quality, what the district's needs are. And then we've already started, and we're meeting with Doria and her team next week to start going through what that looks like. We're starting to procure architects, procure professional services, all the stuff that just kind of goes. It's really us. Over the next 30 to 60 days, 45 days-ish, we're really developing that foundation and that roadmap. And so we've hit the ground running. Our team's working really hard to put a really good foundation, really good floor plan, roadmap together. So,
and a lot of that management plan too is figuring out how most efficiently, we balance how most efficiently to release your projects. In other words, are we coupling these by site, or are we coupling by trade? But then also taking a look at what your priorities are, what you've shared with the community in terms of what ones are really important to do in summer 26 and which ones in summer 27, and which ones maybe are not in the summer if we can, accomplish those in some other break periods. We know you want to minimize impact to students and staff, and so we're really thinking about that. Also thinking about the fact that, you're at the end of summer of 25. There are some projects you can do in summer 26, but by the time you go through design and permitting, a lot of those are going to be more in the summer 27. So we're looking at what are the ones that require minimal design, minimal permitting, so we can execute those so that your community sees a lot of progress in the first summer, if you will. So that's something we're looking at, and that will influence how we recommend that we package these and release these. Some of these will be just independent trade projects. It's like roofing. Maybe it doesn't take a couple to anything else. We just put together a roofing package and put it out on the street. Other things, it might make sense to couple multiple trades and have one or a whole general contractor. So we're just exploring those things right now. And that'll be something, again, in the next 30 to 45 days, we really sink our teeth into, because that influences budget and schedule.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Any questions? You two were on the committee to choose them, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
I was not present for the interview, for the one-on-one interviews. I got to read through the development of the plans, basically. Yeah, you guys did a great plan, put together a nice plan. Your firm looks great.
Ray, you have anything to add?
Nope, they did a great job. That's why they're here today.
That's why they're here.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you speaking English here. Like, I feel like sometimes people get up in front of us and it's just like,
Yeah,
I
we
can't
have
follow, but I followed everything you said, which was
Good.
wonderful.
Yeah. We have to remind ourselves to avoid the acronyms.
Yeah, we have a lot of acronyms.
RFIs and GMPs, and people just look at it like, what are we talking about? So we will try and break that down, and we'll talk about the frequency of reports that will come to the board, be drafted by me, presented by me. And we'll probably start out early on with, okay, I think this level of detail works, and you tell me that's too much detail or not enough, and we adjust accordingly. Because we do like, one of the things we pride ourselves in is tailoring our services to each individual client. So, I'm working with a couple different school districts right now. They have very different expectations for board reports, and that's fine.
Oh, I have a question. Do you guys provide updates on social media? Because I know other companies do, and so I was just curious about that.
That is a great question.
Yeah, we have communications folks on our team. We will work closely with the communication folks to make sure we hit expectations. So we provide content. We can also manage the whole thing, but that'll be part of the management plan that we put together, that we set expectations on how often we're doing that, what content's going out, what's not. But we do have a gentleman, Cody, in our office that works with a lot of different districts on whether it's newsletters, whether it's social media, whatever it is, to kind of tailor it towards what your community needs are. So we'll scale that up or scale that down based on the information and based on what is needed from this district. So,
and we try and manage, like managing projects and managing communications, because we don't want to send out for instance, your old gym and the renovations. We don't want to send out a preliminary plan out into the world that hasn't been vetted and approved. And say, okay, here's when this goes out. Because it's always tempting. It's like, what news do you have for me this week? Let's throw something out. Well, if it's not been finalized and it changes, then people get upset because they saw something and now it's different.
Yeah.
And so that's part of communications, has to be managed like anything else. And right now in Jervis School District, for instance, we actually have a communications committee. So it's Cody in our office, the district's communications person, somebody from WESD, and then also the architect's communications person and the contractor's communications person. So those 5 people meet every other week to talk about how do we want to roll out stuff? What does this look like? And then making sure that it's consistent messaging from all those different partners. And then also too is trying to leverage things. They had the National Night Out here a couple weeks ago. It's like, do we want to do something? What do we want to do for that? Well, maybe we'll just take this the trifold that we've been working on. We'll just make that available. Again, everything's going to be different. We've got a ribbon cutting coming up. We've got a groundbreaking coming up. And so what does that look like? And how do we push that information out? So they're not just the social media and the newsletter, but also pushing out things like just events.
we understand how important it is, how hard it is to pass it on, and how important it is to communicate out all the wins, et cetera, et cetera. But we're not going to do any of that without working very close with that management team and that communication team. So,
Thank you.
That's awesome. All right, thank you guys so much.
thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
getting ready.
Yes. Thank you for the invitation, ready for practices. A lot of things.
We shuffled for you.
Yes. So we'll start with our cheer team. Our cheer team worked very hard this summer. Our seniors decided to come here and be present today. They have earned the right to go to nationals for the second year in a row, which is huge. They're very proud of themselves, and I'm very proud of them, very honestly. So we do have a co-ed cheer team. Right now, we have about 22 athletes on our roster, which is incredible. And they will be competing all throughout the year. In order to make this qualification, they did have to perform at a certain level this summer at summer camp. And those videos were submitted to the JAMS Nationals program, and they were accepted. We even got the email acceptance today. So that's very exciting. What we're asking is it is an out-of-state travel. It is to Nevada during February 19th through 22nd. I believe we have the paper in front of you that goes over the exact dates. We have a proposal of February 19th through 21st of 2026. We'll be staying in Las Vegas, Nevada. They'll be performing in the Orleans Arena in Nevada. We have 4 coaches currently on staff, 1 male. So even though we do have a co-ed team, we have plenty of coverage for all athletes coming with us. We also have a very great group of parents that has offered to come chaperone. So lots and lots of adults hands-on, which is great. We were able to complete all of our fundraising last year, and it cost the school nothing to send our athletes there. We have that same goal again this year. We'd love to answer any questions. We have lots of fundraising plans, but we wanted to make sure we cleared it with the board first.
Okay. Do we have any questions for the cheer team?
My only question, I guess, is that it says there's 2 days of school being missed, but it's actually 3, if I looked at the calendar correctly, because the Monday falls on a holiday before, and so they have to go to school on a Friday. So I just wanted to call that out.
I may have missed that. Absolutely. We do have a 0 F policy on our team.
Okay.
So all of our athletes will be fully academically eligible to go on this trip. So hopefully that makes them a forehead of anything academically that they could proceed. We also are working really closely with the teachers. It's a benefit of me working in the schools. We can definitely keep up as much as possible. Our athletes are great when it comes to academics, very thankfully. And even when they do fall behind, they're hard workers. I know that a couple of our athletes attended summer school all summer just to be eligible this fall. So,
Good to hear that they're working hard.
yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it's quite a bit of money that the kids have to come up with and that you're helping them fundraise
Yeah.
for, which I appreciate that help is there majorly.
Yes.
We did it last year. We're doing it this year. Are we foreseeing this is going to be an every year type thing? How are we going to make it sustainable for our community to support? Because 20 kids is a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
We, eventually the goal would be every other year. And that way all of our athletes have at least twice during their high school career, the ability to go.
Yeah.
Our athletes, our seniors in particular, didn't have that option up until now. So we're kind of making up time.
Okay.
It actually helps with their college resumes when they're going to cheer in college or onto adult teams in the all-star world that they have hit nationals twice. And so that's why we're playing a little catch up, but the goal is to be sustainable eventually and go every other year.
Okay, perfect. Did you have any hiccups last year when you went that you've now sorted out?
I'm gonna knock on wood, we did great. There was no behavioral challenges, there was no finance challenges, there was no plane scheduling issues, which was always a worry as a chaperone. It was fantastic. We scheduled all of our time where it was organized for all of the athletes. We had team bonding experiences. We went to an arcade and a jungle gym park. Yeah, we went to the sugar factory where they had desserts the size of their faces. So that is all included in this cost. So there is wiggle room. If we don't attain that $1,100 per athlete, we cut out the sugar factory or something like that. It's obtainable.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Things have been so busy between Sarah and I.
Yes.
You'll see on the board agenda an approval for a co-op for cheer,
Yes.
but I wanted to I didn't know if you were going to explain that to the board.
I would love to. So
Willamina this year is having a very hard time getting enough athletes to have a team. We actually have our Willamina coach over here, Angelica. Currently, they have 4 athletes. That is fairly one stunt group. And so one thing that we presented to also Derek Burnett, who's the new athletic director in Willamina, is that we allow these athletes to come participate with Sheridan High School cheerleaders and still have that cheer experience. Unfortunately, last year, Willamina was not able to have a cheer team at all. And as the youth director for our local cheer teams as well, we have multiple Willamina athletes. It's a little heartbreaking that they don't have high schoolers to look up to. One of the juniors in Willamina is actually one of our previous youth athletes, and she's been heartbroken. There's nowhere to cheer. And so we're really considering doing a co-op with Willamina. This would bring on 4 more athletes to our staff. Thankfully, Angelica is already fully certified to coach and is fully on board with this process. We've thought about how to do this with our community so close. For football games and everything, they would co-op as Sheridan athletes, just like our soccer team has done in the past. When we do Willamina Sheridan football games, we would be in the middle and neutral. And I think that would be a great community bonding moment, actually. We do have clothing that is neutral, that still allows the athletes to represent their school, but also be one program. We have a large basis for cheers that support the community rather than single one side out. Yeah. And competitions, we would compete as Sheridan athletes. In fact, we're looking into Start the Sport, which is a whole new world. So that is just great opportunities, and we would love to put that to the board as well tonight, that we consider co-oping with Willamina Cheer.
Just to clarify, there's not a document that I would sign that would go to OSAA for that.
Unfortunately, we can't start that until both programs are already on board.
Okay.
So that's why we're bringing it to you, and then you can sign that as soon as the document is created.
Okay.
But we will still have a date that we have talked to our board then.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And is the Delphi school part of that, or is it not?
So Delphian, as a private school, unfortunately, they shut down their cheer program this year as well. And it came down to gym space. And this is a state placing team, so it's a little bit shocking to the cheer world. One thing that they have done with their soccer program is, because their students live on campus, they're actually within the Willamina school boundaries. They send their kids down to Willamina as athletes, and then we're already co-opted with Willamina. We do not have to do a separate co-op for that.
Perfect.
Yeah. No problem. My last presentation is actually for soccer, if you'll see further down your agenda too. We are asking to co-op for soccer for the year. In the past, it's only been a 2-year co-op agreement with OSAA. Because we're in the end of a quadrennium, which is a big word that OSAA has, they're only allowing 1-year co-ops right now, because they're kind of throwing everything back in the hat when it comes to classifications and rules when it comes to OSAA. We've already successfully co-opted with Willamina for soccer, and we'd love to do it again. Currently, there's about 3 soccer players coming from Willamina. The goal is to have more like 7, but right now that is what they're able to get in athletes. The Willamina board has already fully approved the co-op, as well as their superintendent and athletic director, and has already been signed on OSAA.
And it doesn't change from our previous.
No, everything would stay the same. They would be considered Sheridan athletes.
Any questions about that?
Nope.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we have any public input, Jen? Okay, moving on to admin reports. Superintendent report?
All right. So the thing tonight is our bond and celebrating the passing of our bond. And I wanted to share about the selling of the bonds, which took place last Tuesday. And I have some talking points that were provided by Piper Sandler, and they are the organization that worked with Karen and I for several steps that we had to do over the summer to get ready. One being presenting to S&P Global to get our rating. And so just to summarize this, the district sold 6 million voter-approved bond issues. The sale went extremely well, with overall demand for bonds outstripping supply. In fact, the bond sold at nearly 4 orders for every maturity, meaning that our underwriter for Piper Sandler was able to reduce the interest rate over the initial offering, and investors were willing to pay a premium price to receive those bonds. So more information will be coming out about this, but the important part is that we did receive a premium. That premium is approximately $285,000 over and above the $6 million, in addition to those proceeds. These results were in part of the district receiving an excellent credit rating. Thank you, Karen, and all your hard work. We received an A from S&P Global. And in the rating summary, S&P Global highlighted the district's general fund, general fiscal performance as a strength, further noting that the district has stable operating performance and manageable long-term liabilities. So again, this has been our summer, is the work that we did to prepare to sell the bonds, to put out the RFP, to go through the process. And I'm very thankful that we have our applicants here tonight for the Bond Oversight Committee. And really looking forward to working with RNC and moving forward. And there will be a lot more of my report in September as we get the school year started. Thank you.
And talk about speaking English. Oh my gosh. There are parts of it, I was like, I have no idea what they just said. But it was fascinating watching, because they had like this little ticker thing. And so you could see when the bond sold. And so they'd like done these like clumps of, I don't know, like 4 million or something. And those 2 big ones sold really fast. So it's like, oh, good. We got the major part of it done. So it was fascinating. Yes.
Oh, and then next Tuesday, we have the closing verification that the $6 million have arrived at US Bank. And there's a secure information thing that Karen gets to do. And I do really appreciate Piper Sandler. They've done a fantastic job of holding our hands since this all kicked off right after we received the election results. And also to let the board know, I have been asked, and I would like any of you to join me. OSBA does a bond ballots conference to help support other districts in passing a bond, and I've been asked to be on a panel. And it would be great to have a board member join. So I will be getting more information out. I think it's like in February, but it certainly is exciting after the hard work of what we learned and what we moved forward, and then what we were able to do in May. And especially thank you to our voters.
And thank you, Dory and Karen, for all the extra work you guys had to put in this summer to make that happen. So you've learned a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right, next up is our fiscal report. Karen, that's you.
Well, I can say it's been really busy. I have there's 2 resolutions this month. The first one is to finish approving our budget. And so now that we know how much we have to levy, that's the imposing the tax and categorizing the tax. So if we can get this approved, then I can file our ED50 with the counties, so then they can levy the taxes, so we can actually get money to pay back our bond. And then the other one is just kind of a housekeeping one, because we all of a sudden got money for summer school. So I just want to be able to accept that money and then spend it. Other than that, it's just we're really busy getting the fiscal year set up and contracts out and time cards set up. I'm very, very appreciative of our HR specialist, Celine. She's been really helpful. We've been working back and forth really well, so that's been nice. And I think that's all for right now.
Any questions for Karen?
And since, a majority of you are new, if you have like examples of other reports that you've seen that you like, I can shake things up, do something. So just let me know.
Or if you have any financial questions.
Exactly.
Karen loves to answer questions.
Loves financial questions.
And my door is always open, so, you know. It's very here. Yeah, except for if it's payroll.
All right. Next up is the OSBA recap from the conference. So Jeremy and Ruby went. Could you guys share a little bit about what you did?
You want to go first?
I can.
Yeah.
So I went Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was surprised at how it's kind of I'm told the summer conference is for new board members or maybe a little more tailored, but there was a lot of experienced board members in that room. There was a ton of people, a lot of information. It was literally that drinking from the fire hose type of scenario. There was a great moment where there's basically the school financing demystified was a seminar, which I thought is a little bit of an overstep for the name because you can't really demystify school financing. I totally get it. But like they kind of explained some things that I was unclear of, but how the state financing is kind of intended to balance out every student at around 10,000 per student. Showed some neat graphs and stuff, but that was kind of interesting to kind of see and hear somebody else's take, I guess, on school financing. And everybody pretty much generally agrees that it is completely a shell game that's always moving around. And the pieces never really fall into place until 2 years back. So that seems to be the way it works for everybody. So if anybody's confused, that's how it works. So yeah, there was a public meeting law class, which apparently is required by every board member at one point during their term to go to. And it was the part of the meeting that I noticed everybody that was experienced in doing this was on their phones. Because it was like this is just checking a box and we've heard all the legal stuff before. So it was like you could tell everybody that had been there before because they were just swiping away. But it is a huge legal load of information of how that goes. So, but yeah, it was again confusing stuff, but eventually I'm hoping it makes more sense. A little bit of an interesting talk regarding the cell phone policy. There was some open table conversations regarding the cell phone policy. I kind of asked the question if schools that have started doing this a little bit earlier had noticed kind of a tick up in IEPs and stuff like that regarding trying to get their student to be able to have a cell phone. And they said that schools that enacted a really good foundational why we're doing this policy didn't notice issues and they did notice a lot of benefits from it. So it sounds like I'm sure it'll be some growing pains as we kind of figure out what the policy is going to look like for it, but there were benefits for it. I could feel the eyes rolling.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it was kind of an interesting talk. That was a very busy table. That was the one table that had twice as many people standing around it in the circle. In the group that I was in, ironically, there was a guy that was doing nothing but swiping on his phone while the meeting was going on. So it was the most ironic thing. So anyway, yeah, but there was a lot of great discussions, a lot of great seminars. It was good for a new board member for sure to go to that. So, yeah.
Ruby, you have anything to add?
Yeah, so I attended 2 days, so Saturday and Sunday, just because I couldn't attend the pre-conference, but I still wish I could do the budget one because it sounded like it was really good. We did the roundtables on Saturday, so the hot topics, I did improving mental health in schools, the Oregon cell phone ban, just a quick snapshot, and then public comments procedure. For the improving mental health in schools, we discussed 3 different approaches that other school districts were doing. So they highlighted Woodburn, Salem Kaiser, and Anchorage, I think. Woodburn is focusing on creating a sense of belonging for students that speak English, Spanish, Russian, and then those with and without a disability. So targeting those demographics. Salem Kaiser, they did a tier 1 approach, I think is what they called it, and having an inclusive, welcoming, engaging strategies and intentional close. I didn't write enough notes, so I can't really talk about that. They did talk about 5 to 1 positive to corrective feedback. So doing 5, positive things to calling 1 or corrective feedback. They really highlighted that when bad behavior occurs, we correct it. But when it comes to mental health, it's like, oh, it's bad. Or when a kid is acting out for mental health reasons, they kind of get punished. And they said that that's not the correct way to do it, that we should, provide positive and do some corrective versus, really chastising them for, misbehaving. And then Anchorage was doing restraint and seclusion, focusing on what do all students get, what do some students get, and then what do few students get. And it was so quick, there was only 15 minutes, so we couldn't, I wish she would have done a presentation so that I could have gone to that, but it was just so quick, so I was like writing notes really fast. Then I went to public comments, which I didn't know this, but maybe you do. Oregon does not require to have public comments in our meetings, but we do. So they talked about, when different types of restrictions, so reasonable matters, students and teachers. So I didn't know, public comment can't be used to say positive things about a teacher because it means that we would also have to allow for negative comments. And so like, oh, that was a good learning because I didn't know that. And then they talked about setting the goals. And then you could tempt adjourn if there's a disruption during public comment. So that was helpful. What else did I go to? The phones thing, but, they showed us a sample policy and that kind of stuff. I did get to network with a school district, a very rural school district, who I asked them, how do you guys pass bonds? Because, we're having trouble in this third time. And they said that they actually paid out of pocket for playground construction, and they recently paid 1.1 or 1.8 million for their turf cash. And so I was very impressed. And so they told me kind of how they did it. And so I'll talk to Dory more about that. Cause I was like, wow, how can we get in on that? Because we could use some of that money, right? So it was cool. And they talked about different CTE programs that they have. So welding, where kids can, learn welding and then actually get their welding certificate in high school so that they're ready to leave with their certificate and get really cool employment. CNA, phlebotomy. I think they're actually either just implemented it or working on doing teaching, because what do you have more of in schools? Teachers, right? And so how do you get students that want to go into the profession prepared? And so helping them kind of do that. They talked about a lot of the policies and legislation that passed, didn't pass, and that kind of stuff. I like have a million notes everywhere. I went to policy. You did it twice, right? The policy discussion. So they talked about, we don't need a policy for the ARs, and I didn't know that, so that was kind of cool. They said if you don't need to have a policy, you don't have to have one, but it's helpful, like for Dory, to fall back on policy. So that's the important part. I went to parliamentary procedure, so that was cool because we'll be doing a work session, I think, about that. So talking about like main motion, second, restating the motion, debate and amend, restate the motion again, vote, and then the results, and then learning about the consent agenda, that we don't need to do a roll call, but if we can vote on, if there is no objection, then we can approve the consent agenda without a vote, like a formal roll call vote. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, a lot of networking. We got to sit in on our regional tables. So Dayton was there, Newburgh, and us, I think, and that was it. And so I just talked about like, what are we getting from OSBA? Are we getting enough? Are we getting too much, especially in the communications? And I said it was fine. And yeah, and then last but not least, there was a lot of cool swag, a lot of cool swag. But I found this at the PACE table. So it's, you can get these for free. It's the student resources. Every student has a right to a safe learning environment. Bullying, sexual harassment, interpersonal violence are never okay. Your teacher is a mandatory reporter. They can help. And then staff resources, you are a mandatory reporter. You must report suspicions of child abuse and neglect, phone numbers, QR codes on where to report, and then concussions. So just a little quick, if you suspect a concussion, and then concussion signs you can observe, symptoms athletes can experience. So they can give these out for free for the school district.
And I think we've got the mandatory reporter ones that we're going to give out at our breakfast.
Oh, cool.
So we do have some.
Yeah. And then HMK, is that one of, so they actually talked to us about like, hey, like what can we do? And then they said that like, if we were gonna go with any company, the ones that we chose were the ones that they would recommend. So, and then another one's like, we didn't even make your short list. And so I was like, I wasn't part of that. I was like, talk to this guy. No, so it was kind of cool and a lot. They're like, hey, we're working with your neighbor. And I'm like, okay. I wish we'd have a conference first so we can, scope them out and then, but.
He did say if we have any questions, send them to him. He's friends with the other guys. So he said, yeah, send me any questions. He's like, I'm willing to help. I tried. So
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was a lot. It was good.
Good. Maybe more people can make it next year.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Next up is the Bond Oversight Committee applications. We have 8 of them. And I have a couple questions that I have came up with that we're going to ask each applicant. And we'll just go in the order that they are on the screen. So Molly, you could come on up. I don't know if you need to introduce yourself. We all know you quite well, but go ahead and introduce yourself really quick.
Hey, I'm Molly Griffith. I've lived in Sheridan my whole life. I went to school here. My kids go to school here now, and I plan on sticking around a while.
Fair enough. So first question that I have for you, we all had the chance to read your application already. So these are kind of above and beyond the application questions. Just answer them as best as you can. I got 2 questions. Sometimes we will make decisions that our community disagrees with. How do you see yourself as helping us positively mitigate those potential situations?
By continuing to listen to the community and take their opinions into consideration, but with the understanding that we have a lot more information than any of us could possibly tell everybody. And I've had the privilege of speaking with a few people in the community who've asked me if I was going to apply to be on the committee and expressed that they hope I would be on the committee because they trusted me to take everything into account before making decisions.
Very nice. All right, second question. What is your number 1 reason for applying to join the Bond Oversight Committee?
I've been a part of this process from the beginning, and my family voted in for the bond that built the school, and that responsibility has now been passed to me as a parent and a taxpayer, and I'm willing to put up to take care of it.
Very nice. Any other questions? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, who's next up? We have Suey. Suey, would you like to come up to the mic? Go ahead and give us a brief introduction.
I'm Suey Linsmeyer. I'm a community member. I think this is my anniversary of living in Sheridan. I think I moved here exactly 18 years ago. We live on the other side of the highway. I have a grandson who's going into 1st grade. I am the executive director for Head Start of Yamhill County, and I was a teacher here with children who graduated during the pandemic.
Ooh.
Randy Gibson was in my class. I'm on a lot of committees throughout Yamhill County. I really care about children and education and supporting families and community, and have a lot of experience doing that for many years. I came from Southeast Alaska, and I was on almost every committee in my kids' elementary school and middle school. So And they're parents. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked Molly. So sometimes we'll make decisions that our community disagrees with. How do you see yourself as helping us positively mitigate those potential situations?
Listening and listening actively and taking everybody's information and being respectful to everyone, because that's what it's all about. Not everybody's going to have their viewpoints be the popular ones. So,
Valid.
Yeah.
I like the listening.
yeah.
Active listening, very important. Second question, what is your number one reason for applying to join the Bond Oversight Committee?
I want to give back to this community. I have been really busy. I think I'm in year 13 of being the executive director, and I took over at a time when it needed a lot of shaping up. And we just finished all of our facilities projects. We have one more thing. We found some rot, so we have to finish that up. But I feel like I'm going to have a little bit more time. I've been pulling back on some things and wanting to get into other things that are personally a favorite of mine. And so Sheridan is that. I'm going to live here probably until I die.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, Stephen Rayback, you're up next. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Stephen Rayback. I've been in the community for about 4 years now. I have kids in the elementary school and high school, and we are looking at expanding the family. So I'm going to be in the school district area for quite some time.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same questions again. Sometimes we will make decisions that our community disagrees with. How do you see yourself as helping us positively mitigate those potential situations?
So as the others have said, listening, taking in the feedback. I actually strongly believe in reaching out to those who disagree to make sure that they feel heard, that they're not being neglected. Especially on some of the social media, you see a lot of the people that just feel neglected as if no one is paying attention to them. And so I think it is very helpful to mitigate those frustrations when you actually reach out to them and try to get their input.
I think that's great. Second question, what is your number one reason for applying to join the Bond Oversight Committee?
I've been trying to get more involved in the town that I have moved to, between just the litter pickups, reaching out on Facebook just to volunteer for anything at the hometown days, ended up helping out with some of the games. And I've just been trying to find some way to get more involved and in a way that helps my kids directly too.
Thank you so much. Next up is Joseph Neely. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Joe Neely. Is it okay if I mention that there's something I forgot to add to my application?
Yeah, sure.
I am the senior class president of 2005. So that is my committee government kind of experience. But that's the only thing I can add so far that I can think of.
Anything else you want to share with us though?
So I have lived in Sheridan since 1994. I have attended Faulkner when it was on Sherman Street. Unfortunately, we lost it all before 2000. Went to Chapman before it became Faulkner Chapman School. So I've been really into this community for a long time. This has been my home for a long time, and I'm not planning on going anywhere.
Yeah, hey, senior class president.
Yeah.
Class of 2001.
Nice. It's good to meet another
You're
senior
in
class
good
president.
company.
Thank you.
All right, so I have the same questions for you. Sometimes we will make decisions that our community disagrees with. How do you see yourself helping us positively mitigate those potential situations?
So I would say active listening, not just pretending like you're listening, going through the motions, like literally listening to them, asking questions, empathizing, really showing people that you do care about how they feel about things, like what Stephen mentioned, where there's on social media where people feel neglected, they feel like they're not being heard. I mean, I hear that sometimes, but just actually listening to them and taking their feedback and reaching out to them and being more proactive and active into our community.
Yeah, I love it.
Because we're just gonna be there for recommending. We're not really as a committee, we're not going to be there making the final decision-making process.
Right, but you're our connection to the community.
Correct.
Absolutely. So second question is, what is your number one reason for applying to join the board oversight? Bond oversight committee, sorry.
I would say change. I want positive change in the community. I don't recall a time that, other than Faulkner Chapman, where the community actually voted and approved a measure that would help our students have a better education system, better facility, because I was at Chapman, and you went to Chapman, obviously, I would imagine, where there was asbestos everywhere, the building had to be burned down, and I just want them to have a better classroom. I want them to feel like they're valued. I want the staff there that literally work there for at least 9 months in the year to feel like this is a good place to work at, this is a good place for me to teach these kids, rather than basically feel like I'm in a classroom that's falling apart. So I'm going to feel like, obviously, what I'm teaching these kids is not important. I want that to be the opposite. I want good change.
Yeah, I think we all agree with you on that one.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
I see you're an independent journalist, and I've seen your work. How do you plan to, I imagine will you be reporting on some of that stuff?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I attend executive sessions at the city council meeting. I am authorized to listen in as a member of the community and also as a vlogger. And I'm still allowed to be there because I'm not allowed to disseminate certain parts of information that is basically behind closed doors. So if the city trusts me to attend executive sessions, you can also verify with Mayor George that I am on the executive sessions. I can attend. I would do the same thing here as well.
Okay, yeah, just because what the company said of like making sure that the communication is consistent, I was just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so I would just follow the guidelines of what is asked of me and of the committee. Good question.
It's a great way to be transparent with our community.
Yes.
We thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Next is Jared Sherwood.
Thank you.
Just had a battle with a chainsaw to figure out who won. Oh, yeah. It's a little slow right now.
All right, Jared, go ahead and share about yourself.
Oh, gosh. Now, my name is Jared Sherwood. I've been a lifelong Yamhill County resident. Moved to Sheridan about 5 years ago. Sold a farm in Newburgh, where I've lived my whole life. And, as a kid, of course, my dad had friends out here, so we came out to Sheridan quite often. I wanted to go closer to the coast. My wife found a house in Sheridan. She fell in love with somebody. So yeah, I'm lifelong Yamhill County. That's about me. I used to own my whole career an architectural door and millwork manufacturing company. Think construction some form of my entire life. Presently, I serve as the director of all capital projects and construction for Virginia Garcia Memorial Health Center. So no newcomer spending public money with this, and the things that go with it, which I love your first question that you asked. Boy,
Do you have it memorized? Do I even need to read it?
Anyone
else?
I know what I'm going to say, so I don't know what to do. Because that hits the nail on the head. When you deal with public money, you have that kind of typically adversarial response regularly, whether it be here or in our case, as a federally qualified health center, it's public money goes into serving public health, because we all know what a hot potato topic that is. And then building it, of course, you've got the lounge chair experts that can do it far better than you can, so you need to be able to mitigate that. But yeah, I deal with that. How big, this is a $12 million project?
Yes.
Isn't it? Okay. Because I just wrapped up, if anybody's seen Newburgh, Virginia Garcia, I just finished that project. I was the owner's rep for Virginia Garcia in Albany. That was a little $16 million project. And before that, we wrapped up a $24 million project. It was a 50,000 square foot medical facility in Beaver. So as far as that, this project is interesting. I find an oversight committee and the way we're doing it interesting, because I'm used to providing our board and our foundation, because we have a lot of restricted grants along with the federal and state money. I'm used to providing the oversight for them. And the oversight, and I realize education is different than other nonprofits, but I'm interested to see a lot of details about the management of this project. That's the first interest that I've got. And all the couple of acronyms that they mentioned earlier are acronyms that I'm extremely good. Like GMP, which said, yeah, that's the guaranteed maximum price. That's kind of an important thing. So yeah, I don't know, I could probably stand here and talk all day. Talk to you. Your first question.
That was the first question. Yes.
Oh, no, there's a distinct way to deal with that.
Okay.
That I've learned over the years is you need, it's fun, being educators, I'm sure you're never exposed to this. We have a group of folks that generate some negative sentiment, and that sentiment starts to grow, okay, it starts to build. Unless you mitigate that quickly and nip it in the bud, it's going to bite you. And I've found in construction, the best way to do that is to, when you have a conversation, narrow it down to what the concern is, right? Education has been so successful so many times when you do that. Somebody says, why are you doing this on this project, right? Well, it makes sense to do this first. Why are you doing this? Then you explain why we're doing this first. That's work for me. I'm not the best at the whole feelings thing, and I probably lack in that department, but I'm really good at drilling down to what we're talking about.
You're the explainer guy.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
Perfect. And what's your number one reason for applying?
I was asked. No. That was a loaded question. I was just waiting to stick that in the box. It's natural progression. I joined the Rotary when I came here. Absolutely fell in love with that group of folks. The one thing that impressed me a lot about Sheridan when we moved in here, one of the first people I met was Judy, and my wife and I both, her more than me, work with her. And this town, just from a real estate perspective, as an individual coming in, this town has got some potential. I really believe that, and so I don't know. It's natural progression for me to be on it because it's in my blood. I'm not going to have to learn anything, new for this, and I deal with. Although I'm sure education is different, I deal with using federal money and state money, and then how to explain to folks what we're doing with it. Yeah. Plus I love to talk, so I could probably sit for the rest of the night.
Well, we have a long agenda, so.
So tell me to shut up.
So moving on, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
Our next person is Mike Griffith. He is not able to attend tonight, but he did just finish serving on our school board for a long time, so I think we would know how his questions are answered. After that is Larry Dybel, also. He is here, also longtime member.
So if you all don't know who I am, I've been here quite a few years.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Long time no see. Yeah. We missed one.
Hey, I don't have to make a decision. I don't have to worry about it ever again.
Yeah. But yet here you are.
Well, I'm like Molly. I've been through this procedure for 3 times of passing a bond, or actually 4 times, because I was originally when Faulkner burnt down. We had to do with not Faulkner, but Chapman burnt down. We had to build a new school. I was a little baby at that time. Was on the board and worked with that, and then some other bonds, refinancing bonds and stuff, and. I guess my history, so that's where I'm at. So I've been committed here for a few years. That's all I can say.
Fair enough, Larry. Do you need me to read the questions for you?
No.
You remember them. Go ahead and give us your answers then.
What's that?
Go ahead and give us your answers.
Which one?
For the first question, how are you going to mitigate the community disagreeing with us?
Well, that's really a funny one, because if you sit on the back board, on the board side, you're listening to this thing, but you can't talk about nothing. So you have to, think it out. And you say, okay, are they just trying to stir up problems? Are they really interested in an issue, or what it is? So from my experience on that part, I just sit back and I listen. And if they need to be answered, I'm not going to go out there. They need an answer. Give them the answer, but if they're just making noise, you just gotta let that go to the side somehow, or jump in there and start this whole thing all over again. And that's what will happen. Oh, we don't trust you. We don't trust you. And that's not the purpose of what I'm here for. I'm here to do what the committee asked us to do. And that's coming to my second part. That was my first part then. To follow the projects the bond committee was committed to when we got this bond passed, period. No deviation from that at all. Because if you don't, then you're in that trouble all over again.
I agree. We definitely feel a responsibility for that.
Yeah. So, and you guys got a great group of people here anyway. So I think anybody, all these people would be great on the board. So,
All right, thanks, Larry.
well, thank
Good
you.
to
And now I
see
can
you
go and move my son now.
All right, last but not least, we have Angie. Introduce yourself.
I'm a little nervous.
You're fine.
So my name is Angie. I don't know. I'm newer to the community compared to some. I've been here about 5 years. Moved up here because my siblings were in trouble. I got custody of a couple of my nieces. Sold everything, came up here, take care of my family. Still have them. Got a couple of other kids along the way. They're now my babies. And so that's what brought me up here was my kids. So.
Yeah, that's how I met you.
Yeah. Yep. I manage, new to managing the apartments across the way. So I'm working on trying to make the Sheridan, the Meadows and Charney apartments a better little community over there. Been doing that for about 16 months now. I volunteer coach for the West Valley Youth Cheer Team. I also volunteer coach for the high school now. I started my own business to try to help give back to the community by making apparel, reducing the costs for shirts and other practice gears and stuff like that. Try to save some money in the process. I'm also going to be able to sponsor some kids with some profits on that for the local rec youth teams, including some high schoolers.
Nice. Awesome. All right, do you need me to read the questions or do you remember them?
Mitigate issues. Some cases, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can add to what everybody else has said here. Sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. Let them know that results are coming and, they're going to see the results on everything that was voted for, and reassuring that we are not here to make decisions. We are here to ensure that the funds are being spent the way that they should be spent. And if we're not, well, that's why we are the community, because we can, raise our hands up and be like, excuse me. So, yeah.
Yeah, very good. And your number one reason for applying?
I want to make Sheridan better. I want the community to be better. I want the kids to have a place to go to school to be proud of. My Ariana, she's now 7, and I want them to look back and be like, yes, I go to Sheridan, or yes, I cheer for, the Spartans. And I really want them to be proud of where they go to school. And I know, unfortunately, some kids don't feel that way right now.
Yeah, I love that passion. Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
That wasn't too bad, was it?
No. Well,
All right, now we are going to move into action items. Just as a reminder, if we have a motion, then we can talk about it. So we need a motion before we go into discussion. So it doesn't mean we can't talk about it. We can pass it, we can fail it, whatever we want. So we have to make a decision on the bond oversight committee and the applicants. Is there a motion to accept the applicants as presented?
I motion to accept the applicants as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
Second that.
Do we have any? Do we have any further discussion about it? I have a comment. First of all, I'm so excited that we have 8 people. Like, I feel like we've begged, borrowed, and stole over the years to get people here. So it's very exciting for us to see so many community members here. I would still love to see one more person on this committee, and it be a staff member who also lives in district. I'm not saying it has to be you. There's others. There's others. But I think it would really give us well-roundedness with our board members, these 8 people plus 1 staff member. I think it would be amazing. Now, we don't have to decide that within this motion. We do on the next one. So that's my 2 cents. Any other discussion?
I do like that we have a variety of people already from all different walks, so I appreciate that as well. Can I ask what your full reason for wanting to staff members?
I think we need someone at the building level to give a perspective that we don't have. Staff members are going to have a different perspective than we do. And we actually have quite a few staff members that live here in this district. So I think it's a great way to represent our district better.
Is your hope to seek somebody out or just request somebody to?
No, I think it would just be open for all. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So when we looked at the charter, it did not occur to me that staff could be on a bond oversight committee because we're so used to that separation. And we looked at a variety of different charters, and I glanced at another districts, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they included staff. We could do that. And I reached out to some staff, but it was really up to the deadline of when the application closed. And so we do have staff very interested in being on this. The other thing that RNC has presented is you have the superintendent reporting to the board, and then you have this core team, and you have bond oversight, and then you have the staff that are going to be involved when we get to design. So there's going to be lots of opportunity that we're going to be able to involve more staff when we start to talk about design. But I think, yes, there's definitely some staff interested in being on the oversight committee.
And we could open that back up for another month and then review those next. Right. Sure. Okay. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to vote on the bond oversight committee applicants being accepted. Jen, go ahead and take a vote for me.
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next up is the bond oversight committee charter. Yes, welcome aboard, guys.
No, that was easy. You told me before you went.
Now we get to see what you agreed to. Let's change real quick, guys. All right, so is there a motion to accept the bond oversight committee charter as presented?
We get to read it.
We can make amendments right now if you guys would
You don't
like.
get to know what you're signing up for.
We have some blanks that we filled in.
That's because we didn't know how many members we would have.
So 9 would be the number, right? One, the 8 we have plus the 1 we don't have yet.
So we're allowing only one more in?
Can I ask why you want
I think it
to
was,
staff member?
yeah.
What'd you say?
Can I ask why you want to include just one?
I just was thinking 9's a great number, so we're not.
Fair enough.
But
I just have great success involving clinical staff on building the medical facility.
well, and like Dory said, the staff will still be involved in a lot of the steps, so.
I would think we leave it open
In
for
design
more.
process.
Can
I would think we would leave it open for more staff.
So maybe we table this? Do we have to approve this today?
I'm thinking, no.
Okay, so we could table it until, postpone it till next month. And then we can see what applicants we get, and then we can make a decision based on our applicant pool.
I think it would be nice to have somebody from both the high school and middle school.
Yeah, if we can find them, I think
I mean,
that would
if
be
there's-
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we give them the time to do that.
Interested, yeah. And even, yeah. Classified versus certified and all that, yeah, there's just different perspectives out there, so. Okay, all right, is there a motion to postpone this till next month?
Move to postpone this till next month.
All right, is there a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Jeremy, motion.
Separate the voices.
Sorry.
And then Ty, you second. Okay, Ty?
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
All right, next up, we have,
Will we have a new deadline for additional staff members to be? Okay.
yeah, early enough we can review everything. Perfect. Dory will come up with that. All right, we have 25-26 draft organizational procedures document. I assume everyone's had the chance to review this. Is there a motion to accept it as presented?
Move to accept it as presented.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Any questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Jen, go ahead and take that.
Ray?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on. We have the bread RFP. Is there a motion to accept the bread RFP as presented?
I move to accept the bread RFP as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I'm assuming this is, has already been in place before.
We redo a bunch of these every year.
It's gonna be a every. Okay. That's like
Bread and dairy.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Jen?
Was that a second?
Seconds over here with Ray.
Me.
Oh,
I
wait,
did. Yeah, I second.
It was Jeremy, right?
Yeah, Jeremy
Jeremy
second.
second.
we're all losing it.
Okay. I'm
Do I need to use a
Jeremy
different-
second.
Should I use a different voice?
Let's try a few.
Yeah. Southern.
Aye. Jeremy?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next up is our Dairy RFP award. Is there a motion to accept it as presented?
I moved to accept.
All right, is there a second?
A second.
That was Ray on a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Jen, go ahead and take a vote.
Aye. Jeremy?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. I'm pretty sure the cheer people have sat around waiting for this. The cheer out-of-state travel request. Is there a motion to accept it as proposed? We do need to change the 2 days to 3 school days
I motion that we approve as accepted
with that change.
with that change.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, so that was Ray on the motion, Jeremy on the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move into a vote. Jen, go ahead.
Ray?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
She's out there.
Congratulations.
Yeah, very exciting. We can't wait to see all the pictures.
Yes.
Next up, we have our soccer co-op. So this is again just a continuing of what we've already been doing. So is there a motion to accept the soccer co-op as proposed?
Move to accept the soccer co-op as proposed.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, that was Jeremy on the motion. Got it now? She's figuring things out. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. Jen?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
All right, next up is a little bit more unique because we don't actually have documentation. So we're just, are we okay with going with the co-op for cheer with Wilmina and the Delphi?
Yes.
So we just need a motion on that.
I motion to accept.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Aye.
All right, that was Ray on the.
Already, just get into it.
We're gonna have to sit on opposite sides. I guess, yeah.
I'll lean back.
All right. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Jen, go ahead and take the vote.
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
And I.
Aye.
Fiscal. Usually we have a hot one there, but it's not.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next is resolution 26-02, the levy for taxes. This is what Karen talked about earlier. Is there a motion to accept the resolution 26-02 levy taxes as presented?
I move to accept resolution 2602 as presented.
All right, is there a second?
I second it.
Jeremy, seconded. All right, any further discussion?
This takes into account the lower tax rates, is that's what that meant? Sorry. Okay.
Yes. The permanent tax rate that's on here, that's the one we have every single year, regardless of if we have a bond or not. And then the budget committee approved, it was like 350 some thousand. And so since we are going underneath that because of what the bond sold for, we can approve it without having to do another budget meeting and stuff. So yes, it does take into consideration the lower amount.
All right, any other discussion?
Good question.
Hearing none, Jen, go ahead and take a vote.
Aye. Jeremy?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Great, motion passes. Next up, we have resolution 26-03, established fund 226 for summer school. So this is the money we got in recently to pay for what we already did. Yes. It's that delay, but it's not 2 years delay, it's only a few months.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Is there a motion to accept it?
I motion to accept.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
That's Ray. All right, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and take the vote, Jen.
Greg?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Samantha?
Aye.
Jeremy?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Look at that long old list we got through, guys. Topics for next meeting. Does anyone have any topics that they would like to throw out there for the next meeting? Again, if you can't think of any right now, that's okay. You can email Dory or myself or both of us, and then we can make sure it's on the docket. But if you have anything, throw it out there.
Not yet. As time goes on, I'm sure we will. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Ruby mentioned public safety concerns last, has anything been said or done about that? I'm just curious. She was talking about public safety out front.
The bikes and e-scooters and stuff.
That's gonna be addressed when we start school.
Okay.
Like a training for kids kind of thing. Yeah, it's hard to address it now.
This probably is the place for, but I do have some questions about the programs we have at Faulkner with our Delphian students that come down and help reading. I wasn't actually aware of that until this last year, but I'm curious about what that program looks like.
Maybe we can get them to come talk on that. That would be nice. Yeah, I don't think we've heard from them before.
No.
Great comment.
Will the Delphian come, the Delphian school come again? Didn't they come last year for oh no, it wasn't the Delphian school, it was Shapa. Do they do their once a year?
Oh, right.
Okay, I was just
Get
curious.
an update from them later in the year. All right, next up is board comments. Anyone have any comments? Still getting things
Yeah.
figured out?
Yeah, still trying to figure everything out.
You guys are doing awesome.
There's a community baby shower in McMinnville open to all of Yamhill County through the YCCO. I think it's September 19th at Subiel. But don't quote me on that. I'll get a flyer out to Dory if she doesn't already have it.
I just want to say I do appreciate all the presentations today. You guys are very clear about what's going to happen this year and stuff, and I appreciate transparency with that.
Yeah. I agree.
And the organization with it all, you guys seem very prepared.
All right. our next meeting is September 17th at 6 PM. And we have some upcoming events, so make sure you're checking your calendars and seeing what you can attend. We like to try and have somebody from the board at most things. Feel free to communicate with the rest of us if you plan to go to something, just so we know it's covered.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Can you share about the fundraiser? Any board comments?
Our fundraiser?
Yeah.
If you want to.
I don't know the date. There's a fundraiser for a mission trip that Samantha and I are going to, and we want to invite you all. It's September 26th.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I know. So I'm like, I forgot to mention that.
Yep, September 26th.
Friday.
If you're interested in joining us for dinner, dance, auction, give me an invite and join us. But yeah, we'll be going to Mexico in November to build a house.
Yay.
Very excited for that. All right, well, I think that's it. So this meeting is adjourned at 7:15 PM. Now,